Hi, I'm Andy. This is Project Carhaven, and today we get another Falcon to work on. Hey, bud. Yep.
Yep, that'll do.
So I didn't buy this Falcon. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to a friend. But for some reason, I agreed to try and fix it. It doesn't crank, so it could be that the starter's gone, could be the ignition switch, the ICC let out some magic smoke, so maybe the immobilizer's kicked in. That needs to be able to work too, because the blower fan's running at full speed. Somebody decided to rip off all the interior door handles without unscrewing them, so that'll need to be addressed. The main window switch appears to have melted a little bit, probably because the window regulators on the front doors are struggling to work. It probably drew extra current and melted the connector. And there may be more treasures for us yet to find. I don't know what they would be yet, but we'll explore that together. First order of business is going to be trying to get this to start. I'm just going to try the same trick I tried with the FG. Hook up a remote start button to the starter and see if we can get the engine to spin using this. Now, with absolutely no key in the ignition, this will now deliver direct power to the starter. If it spins, it means the starter's good, and we can work on the ignition being the issue. Nothing. I'm not really sure what the quality of that battery is. It's probably low on voltage, so put on a jump pack, and I have put the key in now. Let's see if it'll spin. No. Starter's good. Well, the starter motor's good, but we have a smart lock light, which means it's immobilized. It's not going to start. Probably something to do with that ICC unit. Great. So in order to get the ICC out, we need to take off this top cover, which will likely break if you try to take it out. This one's already broken. I've got a replacement on the way, so I don't need to be too gentle with that. Need to get access to the lower part, get this out. These sides have to come off to access screws. There's 4 bolts down here, a Phillips up here, and it should just come out. It sounds simple, but I bet it won't be. Just like that. Perfect. It's because they sit in the sun, they just get very brittle, obviously. Shift this around, out, screws, inside piece comes out. Looks like a couple of Phillips screws on the top side here, same on the other side. Allows this out. Cigarette lighter connector here, unplug that. Now there's 4 bolts at the lower part, here and in here. It's 8mm. So that should be all that's holding this in place. Now it's a matter of shuffling it out. Oh, of course, all the cables underneath attached to the BEM need to come out first. I'll tell you, just quietly, those plugs are no fun to get off, but they are off. Come to me. All right. Some other weird wiring going on in here that I'm going to delete as well, because we don't need that. Right. So holding it up the right way, because it says not to rotate this or turn it upside down. The BEM on this unit is actually blue, and the replacement unit I picked up has a beige one. Apparently color coding is important to be able to pair with the car properly, so I'm going to take that unit back and get the body module changed over for one that will match, hopefully. I'd like to be able to take this one off, have it work, but there's no guarantee that it will. What I can do is take it off the ICC, plug it back in and see if we can get the car to start, because it should run without the ICC plugged in. Okay, it's a BEM plugged back in without the ICC, freshly charged battery. Let's see if it makes a difference and wants to turn over now. It appears the PATS light went out, so that's different. Nothing. All right, with the key in the on position, I'm going to use that start button to see if we can get it to crank over and actually fire. That's going crazy, don't know why. Anyway. Couple of things. I've hooked up the laptop via cable, try and read some codes. It says the ignition's not on, but the dash is all lit up, so possibly there's an issue with the ignition switch. And when I'm starting it with the remote start button, it slows down really quick, like it's drawing a lot of current. Maybe the starter motor is bad too, so it's a combination of things. But with the ICC out and the BEM connected, the PATS light or the security light's gone out, so maybe that issue's fixed. Just for the sake of it, I am going to go and exchange the BEM on the new unit for a blue one in case I do need it. May as well have a spare, but I've got a few things to buy, I think. I'm going to have a bit of a break from the electronical stuff, clear some space by installing things like window regulators and air filters just to get some of the parts out of the vehicle. Drop the glove box. It's the tray for the cabin filter, which doesn't have a filter in it. Go and give that a wash. New filter, fit to the tray. Make sure it's inside the perimeter of everything, and refit this back into the car. There we go, locked into place. Close glove box, done. To replace the window regulator, got to get the door card off. Normally you would unscrew the door handle, but it's been snapped, so I can leave the remnants behind. Get the screws out of here, one here. This should come off. Then I'll sort that stuff out and then start working on getting the regulator out. Take that out of the bracket. Handle's free. One screw here. There we go. In order to get the glass off of the regulator, I need to drop it down, access the clips, separate the glass from the regulator, then we can pull that out. Okay. There's just a couple of bits of tape to hold the glass up in the track out of the way so we can work on getting the regulator out. 3 nuts for the motor, 4 bolts for the rail itself. Before I get on with those door cards, I'll quickly do the air filter. Cover up and out the way. Yeah, filthy, actually. Motorcraft filter, which is what the factory uses. It's pretty hard to tell, but that is really full of crud. Well, it appears to be a washable air filter, so we'll give it a blast with some water and wash it and see what we might be able to get out of it. Yeah, I mean, typically they're oiled, so it's kind of like an oil slick. Yeah. Door card repair. These are the pieces of the handle that are left behind that shouldn't be. Typically they're held in with little welded plastic dots. I've got a donor door card from the rear because I can't buy the handle brand new. So as you can see, this one's snapped off. There's a hole remaining. Need to grind that off. The other ones are broken off here already, so that's ready to come loose. The aftermarket replacement handle has holes ready to go. Packet of screws and a reinforcement plate that backs over here to help secure the handle onto the door card. I'm sure the plastic welding is quick and fast in the factory, but it's not exactly very strong. And you can see 3 of the handles of the 4 have been snapped off in this car, so you know, it does tend to happen. Just going to use a flat disc to grind off that last remaining tab on this handle, get that ready to go on the driver's side rear door card. Because the rest of it's all broken already, it comes off really easy. Put that one aside for now. Let's see, that cap goes over there. 3 screws into there, the 2 holes up here, 2 screws there, and that should be good. Well, the supplied screws for the back were too short, so I had to get some of my own to do the job. Fit the window switch to the door card. Let's see, clip this on and right. That's one door handle repaired.
Tomorrow.
So that's all the door handles repaired on all the door cards. So now you can pull each door closed from inside, which is useful. Next thing I'm going to do is change out that starter. It's running sluggish and I don't know why. I have a feeling maybe the solenoid's bad. It's drawing too much current, just not good. It's going to be pretty hard to show anything under there due to limited space and my arm's swinging around to try and get a starter out, but here's a replacement. I have a feeling the body of the starter motor that's in this car is much bigger. Wait and see if they kind of match and see if I can get this one to fit. Jumping ahead, there was a bit of contortionist activity to get to the bolts, but I did get the starter switched out and no real difference. So just for the sake of it, I am going to go and test the battery. Four cold cranking amps. 11.3 volts. That's a lot of internal resistance. Yep, this battery is no good. So I've switched out the battery with one of my second-hand ones, which is probably okay. That's a much better result than the other battery. Much lower internal resistance too. And good charge.
Later.
So I had a quick shot at trying to start it, same result. Tells me the ignition's not coming on depending on the position of the key. So next step is I'm gonna drop the steering column and pull the ignition apart and see if that's what's causing this issue. Well, I've never pulled an ignition apart on a BA Falcon before. It's a bit different than the FG, which was only held in by one little screw and was all self-contained. To get to this, you have to drop the whole steering column and rotate it sideways and then pull it apart and everything springs out, and yeah, sounds like an adventure. Here's, there's only 3 screws, we'll see. Appears to be 4 10mm bolts. So I've dropped the steering column, there's 3 screws in the cover, 4 bolts. Now that the column's free, I should be able to rotate it. And we're back under here because none of that worked. Now I know I'm getting all the lights on the dash, the key's working properly, everything's fine. I jump the starter relay with a paper clip and it turns the starter motor. So the actual physical wiring is also good, which leaves the ECU. This is probably shorted out. A lot of BA Falcon ECUs go bad because they're old and they were made cheap. Solder joints get cycled hot and cold, they crack, and they just stop working or doing the right thing. Special security bolts hold it in place. The only way to get them out is get an angle grinder, cut a slot in the top, and then use a screwdriver to undo them, and then replace them with actual proper bolts when you're putting another ECU in. You've got a replacement ECU from the wrecker. It will need to be coded so the key and the BEM actually sync together and let it start. The first step is we've just got to plug this in and then check with the computer to see if we can connect with ForScan to be able to read anything.
Later.
Well, things changed. The throttle body stopped going crazy, but it still won't crank. And I'm out of time for this episode, so hopefully in the next one, we'll figure out why it doesn't want to crank, get it to do that, make it start, run and drive. But for now, all I can say is thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.